Hello and welcome, as it is the 11th day of February 2018. My name is Derek. Everything's within your own risk, own reward. 10:21 a.m. as I'm doing this video. Not such a large volatile day within the crypto markets. Waking up to see that the top gainers on Bittrex, barely over a dozen%, pretty much with the losers as it states now at this time. The top gainers on the day, or top losers first rather, Geo down 15%, Circuits of Value down 14.8%. So nothing really getting a major slashing. Vericoin down 12.9%, but on the upside, only two coins in double digits, Humanic and Numer. And as far as 5% is concerned, there's only about under a dozen at 5%. So when the top end of the gainers is 1.7, and on the losers, the 7.5%. It tells you that generally speaking, most of the markets are generally down and doing such on small volatility. Okay. I have a hockey game at 12. I don't have one. I have NHL Center Ice, so I can watch the Pittsburgh Penguins face off against the St. Louis Blues, although that game's probably a national game anyway. And I'm going to lay 1.5 goals on the St. Louis Blues, and I'll do so on a Bitcoin wager. So it's a good idea or a good time to talk about sports. And I'm going to talk about this just on a mathematical level as you try to find momentum, try to find value, and try to gain an investment. I haven't done well in trying to take long shot future odds. I've never won one in my life. Actually, no, I can't say that. I won PGA winner at over 100 to 1 odds once. But other than that, I haven't hit too many of them. And for this year, the 76ers in the NBA, I've been watching their highlights. 7-8 minutes you get. They show a decent amount of the plays. And Ben Simmons and Joel Embiid are fantastic players. And I love the aggressive play calls that they are doing. And I like to see that if I can get the decent odds for them to go to the NBA Finals, which I have, I've talked about almost 40 to 1 odds are still in at that price. Well, that to me is value. For I look at mathematics as in, okay, what's the chances they make the playoffs? They're a 1.5 games up on Detroit now. They're playing really, really well. There's only one team looking in, and about 4 or 5 teams holding on. So I'd have to think about 75-80%. And then the chances when they make the playoffs, they are a very live team when considering the Boston Celtics playing the Cleveland Cavaliers. And I have to remind myself today to put a bet on the Cleveland Cavaliers plus the 5. It's a system play. This is from a veteran handicapper, nothing on myself. I did make a small bet on the Raptors today, minus the 4, and that's on my doing. But on someone else's information, apparently it's a good play to take Cleveland, but the public is on Boston today. That's a 5-point spread, so I want to wait more to tip off to make a wager on that for today. But as far as the Eastern Conference is concerned, I think that the Philadelphia 76ers are a live team to defeat the Toronto Raptors, Boston Celtics, and Cleveland Cavaliers. Don't be surprised even if they get the number 4 seed. And within such, I don't think they do well against the Golden State Warriors, and I don't think anyone's going to beat the Warriors this year. But that is my NBA analysis. I have decided to take the wager on the 76ers. One more reason why I'm looking at that is I know the NBA season is going to go to the finals roughly around the start of June. So when I take a look at this on a longer term perspective, and I'm giving you my honest opinion to where I expect this market to head towards. This is an annoying tool when you try to use your drawing tool and then move things around in a different manner, because I'm trying to use my mouse to move this over to do this. Okay, so we're looking for June. So the NBA Finals should be somewhere around, I don't know, May 26th, June the 1st. If I were to make my best prediction for how I think Bitcoin's going to move. In short term, whether we have a move like this first, I don't know. I very easily think we could. I think if we do, we would have a fast move higher back anyway. And at this stage here, if the market were to do something like this, then I think we would have a case of the 18 average starting to go higher, people starting to talk a bit more bullish about things. And then there's going to come a time soon when the price action will make its way back to the 20,000 handle. Fibonacci analysis will be very important to work through amongst the way. But until then, or when this happens and it breaks through, what has been stated by the Webbot is that when this thing leaves 20,000 and breaks past it, this is from the report on December the 25th. I purchased it close to the start of the date. It might have been the 24th it came out. I know I was checking every couple days on his website to see if it was coming out. And on the 25th, I checked, I seen it, I bought it. But stated in that report was after breaking 20,000 that it would not see this level again for several years. That told me two amazing, interesting aspects. Because if you're stating a major level like this is going to be taken out and it is just not, it's either never coming back or it's not coming back for a long time, well, that means it's going to have one heck of a good breakout. For there's no way it could go up to 50, 60,000 and expect that the support is going to hold a significant period of time well above the 20 number. But it also stated not come back for years. So one of the things I thought of quickly after reading such was, okay, so if something like that were to exist, and I hate when that happens. So let me just remove the drawing tools for everything again. Now I can do this. Okay. So on the 18 average with the monthly chart, I mean, that's the only time frame that's really holding well right now. Maybe the 2-week chart, however. In a situation of not coming back for many years, it doesn't make much of a surprise if it comes up to about here. Looking at this on a logarithmic fashion, this is $750,000. And even don't throw it a decent gain up to 200. So that really has to be the areas long term that I'm going to be looking at. But if it's going to if it's not going to go back there for years, that means it's going back there. And I'm going to just even envision how, if something like that were to take place, could that mean we have a major blow-off long-term top that occurs many a years from now? That's what I've been thinking. However, as far as moving into the time frame now, it's in a situation where if it's going to have a large break above this number, when this thing gets going, it can have spectacular games. For the last time this thing was even close to the 18 average before, you would have stayed around here, which was around 1,000. 20x gain with only this month red. So now we're on our second red. A significant longer term correction is something like this, where we've seen several red candles mixed in with a few greens. And then from that point, there was a red candle here. There was a couple small bits there. There hasn't been too many. So this is the best correction it has had since this bull market begun back when it was under $200. And it had some serious gains. I talked about how big of a gain it was, going from 1,000 to 20,000 at 20x. Well, going from under 200 to barely almost 20,000 is greater than a 100x gain so far during this bull market. So to state about these insane numbers, to be realistic, well, people say it's insanity to expect different results, keep on doing the same thing over and over. That's just insane. Well, to think that this market's going to keep moving like a traditional stock market or Forex or whatever market you look at is going to do so, well, that's insane. So to me, sanity is having what many people think is insane. That's how I look at this market as. And when I talk about things like the Philadelphia 76ers doing well this year, well, that's when you have breakout teams and you see it on the nice early stages. Hey, sometimes don't be surprised. Mathematically, I look at something like the 76ers bet as something that has about a 22 to 24 in one shot at winning, and the odds are close to 40. So that's value for me. So I'm talking about making a wager on something that I think is more likely greater than 4 and less than 5% of a chance of occurring. You're probably going to lose. Okay. See, earlier I made a video about heads I win, tails you lose. And generally speaking, when I go out and state something like, oh yeah, the Toronto Raptors minus the 4, or even if I go with the St. Louis Blues as a pick'em, and the Boston or the Cleveland Cavaliers plus the 5.5 I'm hoping to get though. You're talking about a coin flip. One team's going to win, one team's going to lose. And sure, when you're playing this game, you could say, well, one team's got a better chance, like 60% at times. And that's exactly what the strategy in that game is. So when I look at the upcoming way crypto markets are placed, heads I win, tails you lose, I look at it as no matter how the situation comes out, there's a pretty high chance that results will turn out positive. That's where I'm getting at. Or 2, you flip the coin, you just know it's going to come heads. Or it's well over 90%. I wish I could calculate what the mathematical probabilities were for the main cryptocurrencies, say in here. I have to think it's pretty high. And when I look about stuff or think about stuff like the Webbot, I have to go back to about 2002 or 3, maybe 4. And I'm watching Beyond Belief, Fact or Fiction, a television show, which stated that apparently an author at the very end of the 1800s, 1898 I think the year was, wrote a book about a ship called the Titan, which was basically the exact same storyline of the Titanic. Kind of freaky that it was written 15 years before the fact. But I've been believing in the human psychicness for quite some time, trying to understand the science of it my whole life. And I'm barely doing that great of a job, but it's not easy to do. So maybe I am doing an okay job. So when Webbot comes out, this is exactly why it was a huge interest for me from day one. And day one was like somewhere between late 2007 to early 2008. So I've been following that type of stuff now for over 10 years. And it's been very accurate. And that's where a lot of the main premise, of course, of this stuff is coming from, where I have no problems profit taking bits and pieces here and there, but realizing that the great transfer of wealth that has been talked about for quite some time you could say got going when this bottom came in here. A decent amount of people came into cryptos here. And the next wave will probably be bringing in that great transfer. Because like I state, buying 50 ounces here, 100 ounces there, and this point here means buying a monster box here or there. Thank you for tuning in, and have yourself a great day. Bye-bye.